Hello and welcome to another episode of Visceral Musings. My name is Cody Reed. I am your host, and it is Season 1, Episode 4. And it is also Part 2, or I guess Week 2, of me talking to my friends and my former bandmates from Fill the Band. My guest today is the other guitarist, the other songwriter, and the other singer. His name is Tony Zavala. We talked about skateboarding. We talked about losing our virginities. We talked about having families. We talked about becoming friends. But most of all, we talked about the 40-year-old virgin. And real quick, I want to extend a debt of gratitude to both Tony and Ian for taking time out of their weeks to sit and talk to me because, full disclosure, I fucked up my upload schedule. But thanks to these guys, we're able to get back on track. So thanks again to Tony, and also take note that there is going to be an audio discrepancy because we got it done, but he used his cell phone because country boys make do, and that's just what we are. So thank you guys for sticking with me. Let's get right into it. Steve Carell could still get it. And if he's not careful, I'll give it to him.
If I'm drinking tequila, I'm gonna wanna fuck and fight and then cry about it later.
She got them bumpy braille nipples, the Stevie Wonders.
I would've fucked him.
Kelly Clarkson.
Gonna rock.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Visceral Musings. My name is Cody Reed, and my guest today is my motherfucking boyfriend, Tony Zavala. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good, boyfriend.
My first question that I like to ask everybody is, do you piss in the shower?
Depends on how hungover I am, but there is occasions, yeah.
Okay. I don't have a follow-up for that. I've just been asking. So far, of all the people I've asked, it's 100% yes.
Yeah, it's a convenient spot. I'm a type of guy that goes green too. You know, if we could save a little water here and there.
It's baller move. All right, yeah. My first real question for everybody that I interview is, who are you and what do you do?
Well, my name's Tony Zavala. I play in a band called Fill the Band. That's probably be like my day job, I guess. But, you know, besides that, I'm a father of two and a husband and, you know, a pretty rad skateboarder still, you know, in my 30s, but I guess I still push the wood around.
It's funny that you said that because the next thing that I had on my list of questions was growing up, I met a lot of my best buddies. I met some of the funniest people I've ever fucking met at a skate park or through skateboarding. And I've always kind of sucked at it, though. You are actually good at it. And when I reached out to you to do this interview or this episode, one of the topics that you kicked around was doing a whole entire thing about skateboarding. So can you tell us what your relationship is with skateboarding?
The thing with me and skateboarding is everything cool about me and everything cool that's happened in my life pretty much stemmed from skateboarding. All the cool music I listen to now, all the friends I have, it just totally grabbed my life and just took full charge of it.
It reached around.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gave your life a reach around.
Yeah, and I finished.
On top, finished on top. You used to do, you still do art as well. That was another thing that we could have talked about. Do you think, when I think about skateboarding, I think part of what it was for me is it was kind of I've always been attracted to counterculture. So anything that was it made me feel kind of cool to have a skateboard and to listen to the bands that talked about skate, like Pennywise or Lagwagon, No Effects, those types of bands, or that style of music was something I always associated with skateboarding. But there's also an art form to skateboarding which I could never quite I could never get it right. I never had a style. I was never very good at getting good at I wasn't a good street skater. I wasn't a good vert skater, but I was always infatuated with the artwork, the art that was on the bottom of the boards. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, man. I think that's one of the biggest things that drew me to skateboarding was the art factor of it. 'Cause like you said, I've always been pretty into it.
Yeah.
The art, but yeah, you know, I don't, and I've always been the type to draw shit on my skateboards and paint them and all that cool shit. So.
I was always drawn into like birdhouse was a big one. The classic birdhouse or like Hurley designs, like for the shirts. And every time I've commissioned like artwork for a T-shirt for like the band or anything, I've always been like, keep in mind like a '90s skateboard brand and just kind of rip it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a Negative 32 shirt. I swear to God, it's a maple shirt, but
Is it the cat one?
yeah, it's the cat one.
Yeah. Phil the band. I have a two-part question to this, but first I wanted to tell you a story. Well, I've already told you. I don't think everybody else knows the story that I left Phil when I moved to the Valley, and people would ask me all the time. They'd be like, "What? Why aren't you in Phil anymore?" And I would always just say, "Fuck those guys," and then I wouldn't answer the question. What happened with Phil? I'd be like, "Fuck, I don't want to get into it. Fuck those guys." And then I was trying to tell you guys should do the same thing. Be like, "Oh, Cody, no, fuck Cody, dude."
No, dude, man. Next time somebody asks.
Yeah, fuck that dude. No. But my question is for you, other than being the best dressed and adding sex appeal, so like that's obvious, all the obvious things, what is your role in Phil the band, do you think?
I feel like I bring a lot to the table. I generally just play the guitar and sing pretty poor backup vocals. But aside from that, I'm pretty involved with the songwriting with Ian as far as, making up the music part of it. Not really a lyricist per se, but a lot of the new stuff we've been writing, about half of the music he let me write, so that's been pretty cool.
When we started working on Phil, I didn't know what you guys did. I only know what Ian and I did, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't around a lot of the time whenever you would be working on your guitars or Dylan would be doing the scratch drums or whatever the case was. I only did my thing, and then when we get to the studio, that's when I got to see it all come together.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, those are good days.
Yeah. Good old hot studio in the middle of the summer.
What would you say is your favorite Phil song?
My favorite one?
Yeah.
I'd probably have to pick Stupid Things.
I would go with that or Lying to Myself.
Yeah. I think my favorite's Stupid Things, but I think what Lying to Myself did for us really kind of pushed us in a more badass direction.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff prior to that, just Ian had wrote. So it was kind of just us coming in and learning the songs and stuff. And that was the first I feel like Phil song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was my very first time in the studio. Ever.
Well. This is actually the only band I've ever been in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, only band I've ever been in my life.
You and Dylan had tried though for years to get something started.
Yeah, it was kind of more just jamming though. I never really saw myself as a musician. I like playing guitar, but I don't know. I just feel like the standard I hold myself to with the music that I listen to, I just never really considered myself to be I don't know, good enough to be in a band, I guess. So.
And it turns out that you were pretty fucking good at it.
Yeah, not too shabby, huh?
Yeah, no, there's not much to it. Other half of it is literally just showing up and wanting to fucking do it.
Yeah. No, I've really enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, there's times totally we piss each other off and shit, but
no,
it's cool when
what?
you see everything come together.
You mean you guys bicker?
Well, it's mostly Ian and Dylan that bicker.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
If I'm being honest, but we're all kind of an acquired taste, so.
You're the mediator, I think, is what it is.
Yeah.
The peacekeeper.
Someone's got to be.
Right. One thing that I did want to highlight, which is sometimes when I talk about other people, I kind of try to give insight. I think people can already tell by hearing you talk why I fucking like you. But a really good story is when we started making Phil, I was 20 something. but we were coming out of COVID, and my other band was pretty much like, it was starting again, but it hadn't really gone anywhere. And when Ian hit me up to work on these songs, I basically just got to sit back and be a bassist. Like, I wasn't writing the songs, but I got to work on them. I got to like do my backing vocals, and I was really proud of what we were doing. And it was also cool because like I ended up becoming such good friends with you and Dylan through doing it, and I didn't even really know you guys before that. And I remember feeling like I had I feel like I had missed my shot almost in a way. Like I felt like washed up or something. I was like, dude, most of the people who are making it big are like fucking 17 or 19. They're not interested in watching like a 23-year-old or a 24-year-old. Like I feel like my time had like passed. I felt like my clock was already like, it was up. And then you and Dylan are both older than me. And so I got to know a different part of life by hanging out with you guys. And then I remember when we put out the Phoenix Sun EP and like we got the physical copies, and the way that I saw you and Dylan, specifically you two, light up and get so excited about it and be like, holy fucking shit, like we got this. And then I was like, it made me a lot more hopeful and like optimistic, because I was like, it doesn't go away. Like you can really just fucking love this forever.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Like, as much as I've loved music my whole life, because my mom's big into music. Like, music's just constantly been playing at my house since I can remember. And so to actually, like, hold a album that I'm actually on and, like, my kids, and I mean, it's there for the rest of the time. It's a pretty amazing thing, honestly.
And it kind of, like, documents us becoming, for me, when I listen to what I did with Phil, I get to, like, hear us becoming, like, friends, too, through it.
Yeah.
Because I remember so many things about, especially like the Stupid Things music video, I think every time I think about like us hanging out, like that's one of the best days I think we've ever had as like a friend group, was like hanging out at your house, shooting in your garage, like setting the kids up and like having them do their thing with Redacted.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's, the whole thing's been a trip, man. Like making music videos and going to recording studios and traveling, and it's awesome. It's fun.
So keeping with that, if you had to have a threesome with one of the Phil guys, who would it be and why is it me?
Well, obviously it's you. Well, clearly you're the most handsome. Dylan's kind of hairy. Ian, for that matter, too. And, like, that's just, different strokes for different folks, but that's not what I'm trying to stroke.
Ian is a hairy dude.
They're both fucking hairy.
Yeah, and Dylan's always itchy. Like, he's always scratching his back on stuff or, like, scratching his beard. You're going to have, like, a bunch of little hair sprinkled all over your bed sheets. I don't want that.
No, you're nice and clean, and, like, I can work with that.
I think we're both relatively hairless, too. Yeah. No, I would second that. One of the other things that we talked about potentially doing an episode on, because I wanted to hit certain things that you pitched to me, like what makes Tony Tony, and you pitched to me that you're a massive hip-hop head.
I do enjoy hip-hop.
And
very much so.
Specifically De La Soul, too.
Yeah, that's, they're way up there for me. I love all that. De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, all that shit.
Who are some of your favorite rappers?
Let's see. Like I said, I obviously love De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, and stuff like that, but I mean, there's just so many good ones, like Scarface. I like a lot of the older stuff, like Ghetto Boys, and a lot of shit like that. Because I'm a lot younger than my brother and sister. Like, my sister's closer in age, and she's 6 years apart. So they grew up in the 90s, so that stuff was just always blasting around the house and stuff, so I don't know, it's real nostalgic for me. I've been listening to a lot of Fugees lately. Like
Wyclef?
Yeah, all that good stuff, dude.
One of the things that I've noticed a lot about rappers is that they tend to have, like, their real name they're usually pretty interesting. I would say they almost sound kind of like scientists or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad that we got to talk about this, because that actually brings us to a game show segment. It's time for Rapper or Scientist, America's #1 game show, hosted by me, Cody Reed, The rules are simple. We're going to read our contestant a name, and he has to guess. Does it belong to a rapper, or does it belong to a scientist? Alrighty, folks, let's get right back to this episode of Visceral Musings. I'm going to read you a name. And so you have to tell me, does this name belong to a rapper or like a hip hop artist, or does it belong to like a famous scientist?
All right.
Okay, so number one. Oh, and also bonus points if you can tell me who the rapper is. Number one, Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr.
That is Snoop Dogg.
That's right. Okay. Number two, Jonathan William Davis.
Jonathan William Davis. That one I don't know.
That's Q-Tip.
All right.
That's Q-Tip's birth name. All right. Number three, Percy Levon Julian.
Percy Levon Julian. Yeah, I don't know that one either.
Scientist.
All right.
All right. Bill Capri.
Bill Capri? Is that a scientist?
Kodak Black.
Oh, it's Kodak Black. Huh?
Okay, so
Nice one to pull out.
I pitched this, and somebody told me that it was stupid. And then I was like, okay, well, here. And then it's a lot more difficult than it sounds like it would be.
It was very hard.
Okay. Guion Bluford. First off, sick fucking name. But Guion Bluford.
Guion Bluford. That's got to be a rapper.
Astronaut.
Astronaut. All right.
So I guess he technically is a scientist. Russell Tyrone Jones.
Rapper.
Old Dirty Bastard. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Saint Elmo Brady.
St. Elmo Brady. Rapper.
Chemist.
Oh.
But it sounds dope, right?
Yeah.
Rick Kittles.
Rick Kittles, huh? I'll go scientist.
That's right. Scientist. All right. And we got two more. Antoine Andre Patton.
We'll go scientist.
Big boy. Big boy from Outkast.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is the final one. For the win, Adam Keefe Horowitz.
Rapper.
That's right. That's Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So that concludes that's our second ever game show segment, rapper or scientist. Well, thank you for doing this with me. This is the conclusion of the interview segment. So we're going to take a break. We're going to hit the potties, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the 40-year-old virgin.
Sounds great.
Hello and welcome to another potty break. We don't have any sponsors this week, but what we do have is a couple shows that we can shamelessly plug. My band, Negative 32, will be playing 3 shows with Phil the Band next month, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all over the state of Arizona. So if you're around, if you're a local, come check us out. First up, May 3rd, we're going to be playing in Sholo. It is a house show, so you'll have to follow us online to be able to find the address for that one. We're going to be playing with Charles Ellsworth and Rosemary Drive. We're calling it Homecoming, so find a date and be there. Next up, we're going to be in Flagstaff with Feed, Gone Before Us, Keeg Halverson and the Woke Mob. This is at the Hive. It's one of our favorite venues in the entire state, and it's going to sell out. Last up, we're going to be at Ground Zero in Phoenix, which is a new venue. You'll have to follow them online as well to get the address. That one will be with our friends in Louis on tour. Thank you guys for checking out this episode. Let's get right back to it and talk about the 40-year-old virgin. You know what your problem is?
What is my problem?
You got the pussy on a pedestal.
What does that even mean? Pussy on the pedestal.
So, dude, the 40-year-old virgin is, without a doubt, one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when when I rewatched it to get ready for this, I fucking laughed my ass off at so many points on it. And there was one joke in particular that she said that I never got when I was younger, and then I haven't seen the movie in years, and then I rewatched it, and she was like, he's digging through her condoms, and he's like, oh, do you mind if I wear your Magnum? And she's like, yeah. Then I finally get that joke now. I didn't get it for years. She's like, oh, she doesn't want somebody who fits a Magnum. Such a stupid ass joke, and I never got it. So getting right into the 40-year-old virgin. My first point that I like to make with this is they tried to make him look like a loser. They kind of tried to make him look like he was like just a grown adult child or whatever. But I fucking loved his apartment, and I wish that I lived there.
I think he's cool as shit, dude. Like, he had that badass fucking gaming chair, and like he's ripping at Tony Hawk. makes some fucking egg salad.
Yeah, he's got the
Cuts up the egg.
He's got the electric drum kit. He's got like what else is he? Oh, he has the saxophone that he's walking around playing and his karaoke machine.
Yeah, has all these toys. It's like, you're gonna have blue pants now. All of a sudden, I'm like,
Oh yeah, his little Warhammer setup. I forgot about that. He paints the Warhammer figures or whatever they are.
yeah, he's cool, man. I would have fucked him.
Dude, he pulls off the gray look too. Like now that he's older, dude, Steve Carell could still get it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
if he's not careful, I'll give it to him. When we talked about because we ran through a number of things, and the reason why I settled on the 40-year-old virgin was because we're gonna do this again at some point, and we're gonna talk about other things because there was actually a couple things that I wanted to another time. But when we talked about the 40-year-old virgin, I wanted to know, what is it that you like so much about this movie?
Just the raunchy comedy from beginning to end. Just the nasty shit they say, and just the situations he gets himself in. And anybody that's ever worked at a retail store knows that all that shit that's going on absolutely goes on.
Yeah, the stockroom guys.
Breaking light bulbs in the back and just all that dumb shit. It just totally reminds me of my days working at Ace and stuff. It's just funny. Hits home.
It reminds me of when I used to work at a dealership too. They used to they did poker nights and they did hangouts like that all the time. And those guys, a lot of my coworkers talk they weren't as funny, obviously, but they talk a lot like those guys.
It's real life shit, man. That movie's really, it's real.
So I have mostly what I have in my notes is just quotable shit from the movie. And so Kelly Clarkson when he gets his nipple waxed.
Yeah.
Or
the crazy thing is he really got waxed for that movie.
Yeah.
I bet that shit really hurt.
I think the 40-year-old virgin and Knocked Up were this era of raunchy, dirty, R-rated comedies that could still be shocking.
Yeah.
So him getting waxed or some of the shit that they would say had a shock value to it that you wouldn't get somewhere else. So it was I feel like I used to sneak around to watch this movie when my mom wasn't home because I was I want to see the part where he goes speed dating and the boobs falls out of the shirt or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, he says she got them bumpy braille nipples, the Stevie Wonders.
The Stevie. Yeah, that dude's hilarious. All right, so out of all the characters, which one are you?
Oh shit! I think I might be Paul Rudd. No, I don't know.
Oh, that's who I was gonna pick too. I'm probably Paul Rudd.
I might be Paul Rudd, but I also do have a toy collection, so I might be Andy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably more like Seth Rogen. Just smoking pots and stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. that part where he goes in the bathroom when she's masturbating with the shower head, and she's cool with it. She's like, "Hey."
Yeah.
Which this is funny.
Cool, man.
I wanted to ask you because of the 40-year-old virgin. And how old are you now?
I am 35.
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
How old was I? I was 14.
I was 15. I think you were the only person I met that was younger than me.
Yeah, freshman year, man, Scott's Reservoir.
Dude, sophomore year, Sholo at my girlfriend's house. I threw up in her floor afterwards.
Nice, that good, huh?
It was that good, yeah. I ran myself ragged. No, I was drunk. I remember I drank tequila from, you remember those Smucker's jelly jars or they had dinosaurs on them?
Yeah.
Okay, so I drank tequila out of one of those and I threw up and I didn't drink tequila for till I was in my 20s because of that.
I like tequila. It just doesn't tend to like me so much.
It'll be mean to you, dude. If you're not careful with it, it'll creep up on you. Tequila's one of those things too. It tastes good, so you're able to put it away, and then it doesn't stay put away.
Nah. If I'm drinking tequila, I'm gonna want to fuck and fight and then cry about it later.
And you're not sure which particular order, what's gonna happen first.
Yeah, not necessarily that order, but those three things are happening.
They're gonna happen. So one of my favorite jokes from this movie, 100%, is the part where he goes on the speed dating thing. Not when the chick's boob falls out, but when he meets the lesbian woman who's trying to sleep with men again, and he's like, "Is it
China?"
Yeah. She's like, is it Gina? And she's like, Gina. I say that every time I see the name Gina. That's the first thing I say. Gina. And you're real pretty. It could be an easy transition for me. Or,
oh man, he's so out of his element too. That poor guy.
You know how I know you're gay? If you watch the deleted scenes where it's like Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd going back and forth doing, you know how I know you're gay? While they're playing the video game?
Yeah.
They're playing like Mortal Kombat on it, like, what is it? Like an N64 or something?
Yeah, it's an older console.
And he's like, you know how I know you're gay? Because you have a bumper sticker on your car that says, I love it when balls are in my face. And he's like, that's gay?
Yeah, that back and forth shit's good, man.
Also, the Kevin Hart scene where him and Kevin Hart get into it, and he's like,
yeah,
he's like, you're using a lot of big words, and because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth. So stupid. This your boy? He's like,
I like the part when he's talking to the blonde chick, and where he's basically saying nothing, and she's just eating out of the palm of his hand. Like, I forget what exactly he says. Do you want me to be looking for something?
Yeah. What do you like? Or something like that, where I think that's a real thing though, because I think everybody has like a borderline like special homeboy that like pulls like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
There's always got to be one. Yeah.
Yeah, like one of your friends that's dumb as fuck, but also gets laid constantly. It's like, how? Dog, you can't read in full sentences. And you have consistent sex.
Like on, what's that movie, Sex Drive?
Yeah.
They can't close, but their ability to open is fucking, what does he say? Heroic?
Do you wear thong underpants? What's up? What's up?
That's good shit,
I fucking love that movie. I could talk about that movie too for like fucking hours.
That's a good one too.
So there's another question I wanted to ask you. I guess, where is the riskiest place that you've ever had sex?
The riskiest? Hold on, let me think. I mean, it's always pretty risky anymore having the kids around the house. In general, but
yeah, they're sentient beings, dude.
I'm trying to think of like any kind of like public places, but I can't really think of it.
Oh, you never did the old like hole in the popcorn tin or whatever, popcorn bucket?
No.
Not me neither. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that have fooled around in a fucking movie theater, and then I'm like, dude, there's 2 movie theaters in Sholo. Well, Sholo and Pine Top. Which one did you did it? And also, you're fucking gross.
It is gross. It's not a very like nice place.
No,
like,
it's not romantic. You sit down on the seats at the WME theaters. You stick to them.
It's like I paid money to watch this movie. Like we could have sex later, you know?
Right.
Like,
You don't have to. I don't know. Yeah. All of my friends fooled around in those movie theaters when we were growing up. Or the band room.
It's gross,
if
man.
anybody from Sholo High School hears this fucking podcast, I know that you fooled around in the fucking band room. Everybody did. I didn't, because I couldn't spit game when I was in high school. I'm not good at persuading people to do things.
Believe it or not, I wasn't always as suave as you might think I am now. I was real scrawny, some goofy hair. I was good at kickflipping things, but that's about all I really had going for me at the time.
No, not a big fingerboarder or what?
Well, every chance I got, I tried and fucking hit the pipe. You know?
try to nail some coping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
One of the things that I always draw back to on these movies, like when we talked, so Ian and I talked about Dumb and Dumber. Jonathan and I, even though it's not a very good movie, admittedly, we talked about like Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. But with these types of movies, there's something about them that they bum you out and they make you laugh. And so I think one of the things with like, because I collect toys like crazy. When Andy starts selling off his toy collection, and then you start to like feel tension with him because he's like, he feels like he's being pressured into having sex because he doesn't want to admit that he's a virgin, because like, and you watch the whole movie, it's them like kind of making a whole joke out of him being a virgin, and then they're like trying to get him to change his life, and then he throws a fit and leaves or whatever. You feel that. Like it feels tense. Yeah. But like this is the same movie, mind you, where like they're just doing gay jokes or they're just doing dick jokes and they're breaking shit and smoking weed. And then like at the same time, it also gets you like, you feel for the characters in such a way. One of the things that it does for me is it reminds me of when movies could actually be something that like highlights my obsession with comedy. And so like, they're not just like goofy, dumbass movies. They're actually like really clever and like artistically written. And the way that Judd Apatow and Steve Carell wrote this movie, it's like lightning in a bottle, dog. You cannot like recreate it, even if you tried to.
No, definitely not. Like, I don't. It's just the characters they came up with. Like you said, the situation he gets himself into. Like, he's totally fallen for this chick, but he just feels like sex is gonna mess everything up, just like it always has his whole life.
Right,
like,
and they even kind of dive into him having like sex trauma, where he's like had bad experiences with like other people, and they made it funny. Like he kicks the girl in the face or whatever because she sucks on his toe.
Or the chick with the braces. This is gonna rock.
I forgot about that one. But like when I watch these movies too, like I felt like I used to like watch them and my mom didn't necessarily know that I was watching them because I grew up in an era where you could like download movies on your phone when I was in high school. So like I could download whatever fucking movie I wanted to and she'd have no idea what we're watching. But I always felt like when I would watch movies like this, these like dirty comedy movies, that I was in on some kind of like secret. And then I would just laugh my ass off and quote it to all my friends. And then I felt like I had a leg up on them because their parents didn't let them watch the shit. My mom did let us watch basically whatever we wanted. But every time I could like quote the movie to them, I felt like I had something special that these kids didn't have because they weren't allowed to watch it.
For sure. Growing up with like older siblings and stuff, I was watching movies I probably shouldn't have been at a way early age. And I see it a lot in my kids because I'm not like I'm not so concerned with what they watch because, like, I mean, they're going to see it regardless.
Yeah, whether or not you let them, they're going to watch it.
Yeah, I'd rather know that they're watching it, you know?
Yeah, you kind of lucked out with having Zig obsessed with Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because we could both get into it, you know?
Yeah, when Colton and I were kids, my little brother and I was obsessed with, like, Barney and like Looney Tunes and shit like that, and Colton was into like Jerry Springer and like he loved the fucking Freddy versus Jason and shit because he used to stay at my grandma's house and that's what they watched over there. So I was like singing "I love you" and he's like Jerry. So we had a weird household when we were growing up. What kind of shit is?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
What do you get? What kind of stuff is like? Because I mean, obviously Zig's big into like Spider-Man and you guys got that together. What is Zoe into?
Zoe watches a lot of those like older Disney shows, like where they're real goofy and kind of like, I don't know, silly ass fucking goofy parents and all that bullshit.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Always some crazy shit going on. But the cool thing about Zoe is she's getting older now and she actually really enjoys watching movies. So me and her will watch all kinds of movies together. She's usually down to watch whatever I feel like watching. It's cool that she's getting older. It's been a whole different experience. She like plays video games with me now and shit. It's pretty wild.
She's a little you. Yeah. She's like a little like sure. Tony clone.
Yeah. Yeah, she's cool, dude.
So like with like the 40-Year-Old Virgin, I had it downloaded on my phone when I was like I think I might have been like a junior in high school. And I used to have like really bad anxiety. And so I've never talked about this before. So you're probably the first person. And if anybody, I mean, I sure hope people listen to this podcast. But one of the things that's like really, really special to me about the 40-Year-Old Virgin and why I wanted to talk about it so much is because I had these really bad panic attacks when I was in high school. And then I finally started to get them under control. But some of the things that like helped me get like when I would get it under control, a lot of it was just like good distractions. Like I was good at bad distractions because I would run with like intrusive thoughts or whatever. But the good distractions were usually the ones that made me laugh. And so the 40-Year-Old Virgin and like basically any of the Judd Apatow movies, like Superbad, Knocked Up, Pineapple Express. The reason why I like them so much is because like like they were raunchy and there's like dysfunction within the characters, but they were also just like people I wanted to be fucking friends with. And I never really had a whole lot of friends, so I'd watch these movies and I was like, I want friends like that like kind of help you get out of your comfort zone or whatever. But I also love that they're all hilarious. And the entire movie, all they're doing is just fucking with each other nonstop. And I grew to like love it. And it was so comforting to me to like, I remember having like a borderline anxiety attack on an airplane one time driving to, or flying to Florida, pulling out my phone and then just like, watching 40-Year-Old Virgin, and then like the next thing you know, we landed in Miami, and I forgot all about it because I was just sitting there laughing at like Steve Carell and Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd. Like that's what these movies mean for me. So I'm like on an emotional level, when you think of the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin, or when you watch it and you get to like reminisce, or it gives you like that nostalgic feeling, what is it that draws you to this movie? Like, why do you give such a shit about this movie?
It's just so easy to like. I mean, from the comedy to the actual story, like, I mean, it's just like somebody you could meet at any place you ever work. You know what I mean? Like, all those guys, they're just like real life people in real life situations. And
yeah, and real life's not really that funny a lot of the time, but they kind of, those old movies, especially the Judd Apatow movies, they're really good at making real life funny.
Yeah, like that. What's that other Apatow movie? This is 40. That's like a super fucking sad movie.
Yeah,
but there's all kinds of funny parts, you know.
Him sneaking sweets, and then Debbie gets pregnant again, and you're like, that's not funny that she's like pregnant and 40. And then they kind of like somehow they loop it back around and they make it funny again. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
Well, I think the cool thing about those movies is, you know, like you said, you know, life's usually not that funny, but I mean, sometimes you just gotta, you know, take a step back and take a look at yourself and just kind of laugh at yourself. I mean, like, probably gonna be all right, you know, the sun's gonna come up tomorrow, like, just gotta fucking get through it.
Yeah,
just like the 40-Year-Old Virgin did. He finally got laid, you know, like, it's gonna happen.
And it seemed like it was well worth the wait. I mean, he only lasted a couple, what was it, like a minute the first time and then 2 hours the second time?
Yeah, dude.
I don't think
you get back up on that horse.
Dude, if I go longer than like 45, my abs are sore and I'm like cramping up. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah, you need to like eat a banana.
So
and shit.
props. It's from riding the bike. Yeah, it's from him riding that fucking bike to work every single day. That's how he did it.
Yeah.
All right. So
that'll build your stamina.
With this, the 40-Year-Old Virgin, Steve Carell comedy, Judd Apatow movies. What are your closing statements on it, and why should we give a shit about it?
I mean, like, pretty much all the reasons we just highlighted. It's just for such a raunchy, silly movie, it's super wholesome and like real feel-good movie. You know?
Yeah, I think too.
You'll have a good laugh. I mean, you feel something, and then you'll laugh again. It's cool.
I think I just thought of this a second ago, is that real life isn't funny unless you let it be funny. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I mean, you gotta kind of laugh at yourself every now and then. Like, I mean,
yeah, and you gotta wax your chest every now and then too if it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, speaking of waxing chests, maybe if we're like short on money, the Phil boys could start like donating all their chest hair to some company or something.
Yeah, to make
rug company,
make fucking jackets or area rugs
with real Phil hair.
Yeah, if you were to
area rugs for sure.
If you shaved Ian from the neck down, you could make a fucking trench coat, I'm sure. Of just orange.
A nice one too.
Yeah, just orange, gray hair. Yeah, it'd be hella itchy, but I mean, it could go to a good cause. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad call.
You know, I'll pitch it to him.
All right. So concludes the 40-Year-Old Virgin. And so one of the things that I love to do with every single one of my guests, I do a top 3. And so it can be movies, music, TV shows, books, whatever you're into. Give us your top 3 and why we should give a shit about them.
My top 3 I guess I'd go with the top 3 artists I've been listening to at the moment. So, you know me, I'm obviously a big Menzingers fan. And so always jamming a bunch of them. And then been
And
real big
they
into
got a new one out right now.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it's easy to be critical of albums, but I feel like the more and more I listen to it, the more and more it grows on me.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. I'll listen to albums and I feel like I'm pretty critical, like, first run through. But
yeah,
a lot of it really grew on me.
That new Menzingers album really hit me lyrically. It didn't hit me musically at first, but then when I really took a step back and listened to like what they were saying and read the lyrics, I was like, God fucking damn, these guys are some of the best songwriters out there right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, number 2.
But aside from them, number 2, obviously, like we were talking about earlier, too, Big De La Soul. I've been jamming them pretty hard the last couple months. The album Stakes is High. Oh man, that's like maybe my favorite album all time.
Hell yeah.
And then bringing in number 3 is Hot Mulligan, man.
Oh, Why Would I Watch?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Pilot's my favorite one, but that new one's good too. Yeah, Why Would I Watch is fucking awesome.
I think Why Would I Watch
all of
is
them
my
are fucking awesome.
It's my Why Would I Watch is my second favorite, which is saying a lot because what's their I can't think of it now off the top of my head. You'll Be Fine. Their second album is like one of my top albums of like the last 10 years. And so I didn't expect them to top it, and I don't feel like they did, but god damn it. Their newest album, Why Would I Watch, is like definitely close second for me on like the Molly list.
The cool thing about them too is like they come out with music like super frequently. And that's really cool if you're into a band. Just get a new song every couple months and stuff, kind of keep them current and shit.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
They just fucking played Madison Square Garden too with Jimmy Eat World and Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, dude, they're on top of the world right now.
Well, that's all I really got for you, dude. So thank you for letting me eat up your evening, and thank you for doing this. What's your Instagram handle?
At ToneLoke _Z, I do believe.
All right, yeah. Make sure everybody who's listening goes and follows Tony at ToneLoke. Follow at Phil the Band to keep up to date with all the things he's got going on musically. Follow Visceral Musings Pod at Visceral Musings Pod on Instagram and let us know what you thought about this episode. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me, dude. I love talking to you anyway, but now I'm glad that we get to talk in front of people now.
Yeah, for sure, dude. We'll have to do it sometime.
All right, man. I love you, and we'll see you very soon. So.
Yeah, dude. Get ready, dude.
It's going down.
Well, yeah, I'm going down.
Hey, man. What does he say? I'm going down. I'm yelling timber or something. I don't fucking know. I messed up my own joke. All right, dog.
Love you, buddy.
I love you too, dude. I will actually see you in May. So.
See you soon, man.